You have a piano piece. You want the orchestra version. How to make it happen? Let's learn from the master, Ravel. Hello everybody, my name is Yang Yang. I'm a composer who loves turning patterns into tools. In this episode, we will explore another important concept, the weight of orchestration. We'll also look at how the timbre colors of different instrument combinations influence the way those pitches are organized. Rehearsal mark 15. Let's look at the strings first. First half. Strings translate the piano part note by note, except one change. The octave leap gesture is shifted in rhythm. Just like we saw earlier at the opening of the tune. This figure is played by violas. Here in the reduction score, I've changed the stem directions to regroup the voices. This way, it better reflects the orchestration. The bottom two voices are played by the second violins in divisi, supporting the melody in the first violins. Next measure. The first violins keep carrying the melody, while the violas join the second violins to provide the harmonic support. The viola's notes come from the piano's left hand. Here, the two notes from beat 2 connect with the right-hand notes on beat 1, completing the harmony. Notice the octave doubling here. It makes the sound fuller. This four-note voicing continues into the next measure. Where do those notes come from? The harmonic context is G minor, as we can deduce from the piano score. With this harmony now complete, the top note is once again doubled one octave lower, maintaining four independent voices. Next two measures. Piano right-hand notes are shared by violin 1 and 2 divisi, but where do the bottom notes come from? They are not the doubling of the top note like before. They are not even in the piano at that spot. Gather the notes from these two measures. B flat, D, F, A flat, C. They form a B flat 9 chord. D, the third of the chord, is added to the first chord. And F, the fifth, is added to the second chord. This completes the harmony of both chords while cellos take care of bass. So the strings already cover everything. What then are the woodwinds and brass doing here? The immediate thing that I noticed is the octave pairs. These pitches come from the piano's bass notes, doubled an octave higher. I also like to think of this as a variation of the octave leap gesture. Each pair is played by different instrument combinations. First clarinet with the first horn, two flutes with the first horn, two horns, two clarinets with two bassoons. And each combination has its own color. We explored this approach, grouping instruments for various sound characteristics, back in episode 3. Here, Ravel gives us another wonderful example. Let's listen. The line that the first horn plays doesn't really feel like a bass line, in the sense that bass lines are usually subtle. But here, the horn sound at this high register is so prominent. Being both strong and melodic, it feels just as present as the string melody. I think I'd give it a rich green color. Let's see how Ravel adds different instruments to decorate this horn sound at each stage. It starts with one clarinet. Hear that thin shimmer on top. Then it moves to two flutes. Warmer, fuller, but more diffused. When the melody resolves, another horn adds the shadow below. The line becomes even stronger. And finally, clarinets and bassoons take over to finish the phrase. The color softens, fades, and becomes muted. Could he have used oboe instead of clarinet and flutes in the first two groups to decorate the horn? No, oboe doesn't blend as well. Ravel reserves it for the melody. Notice how this color changes align perfectly with the dynamic change. So the dynamics are really not just about how loud or soft the instruments play, but also about the color, the characteristics of their sound. Let's listen one more time in the context. By the way, if you have watched the previous episodes, you've probably noticed that I have intentionally left out things like dynamics, articulations, playing techniques, phrasing, layers, etc. It's because I want to primarily focus on pitch organization. But in moments like this, I can't just stop at saying the bass note played by horn doubled one octave higher by other instruments. I need to reveal the beauty. After we go through the remaining 3 episodes, after we've seen all the trees, leaves, flowers, and birds, I'll connect the whole tune and show you the forest. Bear with me. Now, one section we haven't touched. At this small climax moment, 2 oboes find their right place for their bright tone, which is to join the first violins on the melody. 2 bassoons join cellos on the octave leap gesture. 2 clarinets and English horn double the second violin and viola voicing. Except these 2 notes, B flat and G. No woodwind instruments play them. Why? One possible reason is that all the instruments are already assigned their own notes. There simply aren't any free to play these. You might wonder, how about the flutes? They're not playing anything here. But the flutes are just finishing their phrase. I've noticed that Ravel always gives each instrument a clear role. He lets each line have its own phrase and doesn't make them jump immediately from one role to another. Like here, he doesn't let flutes play a strong long note 1 second ago and immediately switch to a harmonic filler. He simply lets them resolve and rest and prepare for their upcoming solo. Defining roles, planning each instrument's availability, and taking care of the continuity of the line are such important considerations, not just for the music, but for the musicians. And I also have thought about the bassoons. Could they, or at least one of them, play these middle voices? If we did, the cello's octave leap gesture might sound too thin when everything else is doubled. Besides, the B flat is already covered by 2 strong horns. We don't really need this voice here. All things considered, leaving these 2 notes out of woodwinds makes perfect sense. So as we've seen, everything is doubled. The weight of the orchestration increases at this small climatic moment. This is another important orchestration concept alongside span and harmonic density, which we explored in the last episode. We are going to see these concepts appear again and again in the upcoming episodes as we move towards the climax of the whole tune. And that concludes rehearsal mark 15. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in next episode.